In a haunting deja vu, history seems poised to repeat itself as the US gears up for a possible deployment of troops in Ukraine. The horrifying atrocities carried out by the US in Vietnam have left indelible scars on the nation's history, and Ukraine may be treading a similar path. Hello and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Vedika. Let's begin. As Biden prepares to station US boots in Ukraine, eerie echoes of the Vietnam War can be heard. Once more, the US is involved in a dubious project with unintended repercussions. Truth steadily emerges from propaganda's shadows. The US is quickly assembling 3,000 military reservists for Operation Atlantic Resolve, despite narratives in the mainstream media that forecast Russian defeat. This reaffirms the unwavering support and commitment to the defense of NATO's eastern flank in the wake of Russia's illegal and unprovoked war on Ukraine. Lieutenant General Douglas Sims, the director of operations for the Joint Staff, told reporters on Thursday. But why is there such a pressing need for reinforcements if victory has already been won? The administration keeps quiet, and neither Congress nor the media seem particularly interested, as Biden's neocons increase their involvement despite rising Ukrainian casualties and declining US soldier numbers. We teeter on a cliff that is hazardous. The next move in the US-NATO proxy conflict might involve American youngsters. Will the system of selective service be reviewed? How long before the people awaken and resolutely say no? As Ukraine runs the risk of becoming another Vietnam, the shadows of history grow longer. Vietnam still shows signs of the American invasion, serving as a somber reminder of earlier tragedies. Are there any chances that Ukraine would experience similar tragedies as memories resurface? Will the cycle of tragedy and destruction be repeated with the deployment of troops? Let us not forget the lessons learned from the past. Vietnam is still reeling under the horrors of the American invasion in the 1950s. If one remembers clearly, at the time of the Vietnam War, the US deployed 5,900 Army Reserve soldiers. Of those, 3,500 soldiers deployed to Vietnam. Most Army Reserve soldiers served in combat support and combat service support units like the 319th Transportation Company from Augusta, GA. While deployed to Vietnam, the unit transported ammunition and rations to the 1st Infantry Division near the Cambodian border. The Vietnam War was marked by a series of horrifying atrocities carried out by the US military, leaving an indelible scar on the nation's history. From the infamous My Lai massacre, where hundreds of unarmed civilians, including women, children, and elderly, were brutally killed, to the widespread use of chemical warfare, such as Agent Orange, causing devastating long-term health and environmental consequences, the war unleashed unimaginable suffering. The indiscriminate bombing of civilian areas and the displacement of millions further compounded the tragedy. These atrocities fueled global outrage, reshaping public perceptions of war and prompting a profound re-evaluation of military conduct and accountability. So is the same going to happen with Ukraine now? Is Ukraine going to become another Vietnam? Will history repeat itself in Ukraine, or will we find a way to break free from this haunting pattern? Only time will tell.